Hello, it's Mr. Perley here, and I am going to build a Bluebird birdhouse along with the help of Rylan. From time to time, he's kind of running the camera right now. Got a handy dandy tool belt on. Put this here, put this here. Yeah, okay. And got a little makeshift workbench here in my garage, and I've got a 6-foot 6-inch wide, about 6-inch wide panel. It's recycled. I'm going to repurpose this board into a Bluebird birdhouse over the next few minutes. So I have already taken my measurements. Just so you know, I've got 12 inches on the back. So it has a little overhang so I can attach it to a post. You can see that. And then for the other pieces on the front, got 10.5 inches. That's going to give me a little clearance to come all the way to the bottom, past this bottom edge. Gives it a nice front finish on the front there. 2 10-inch pieces on each side, and then 7.5 inches on the top. Gives it a little overhang, a little roof protection for our birdies, and 6 inches on the bottom. You can see I measured this a little wrong on the first one, so I need a ½ inch more, 6.5, or a ½ inch more. So now 6 inches on the bottom will give us a full, nice bird box. Again, made out of this recycled fence panel. We're going to turn the noise off, the noise or my voice or from the saw. And since I've already got these marked, we're going to silence that, and I'll make my cuts. You can watch. Hopefully you didn't have to hear all that. I've got my pieces. I'll pick those up real quick and start putting it together. I've got some screws, 1¼ inch screws. Got my drill and some wood glue to kind of extra bond to hold that together. We've got our drill bit here for the birdhouse hole. This is going to be the back of the birdhouse. I've got my front, which I already have marked for where we're going to drill the hole, the birdhouse hole. I centered that horizontally, and vertically I've measured it down 4 inches from the top. We'll drill that hole kind of last. We'll go ahead and start putting these pieces together, so you can see here. I'll hold it up and kind of model it. This is what we're going to go for first. Get these 2 pieces like this. Run a little bead of glue on there. Not too much, but you know, a little bit. This is an exterior interior water resistant premium glue. Sometimes I forget to glue. Get so carried away. Sometimes it's easier if you have a helper, and sometimes you just don't have a helper, so you make it work. I am wearing these gloves. They are not cut resistant or screw resistant, but they just offer a little bit of protection. Sometimes it's, again, easier to have gloves or not. Try to get a nice straight screw down there into that other board. And get me another drill. This is a little impact drill. It's making a little bit more noise than what I was hoping. It's also a good idea to drill on this on these little cedar boards a nice little pilot hole so your wood doesn't split. Sometimes your wood will split if you've...
Back up drill here.
Thank you. That drill will not be quite as noisy. Making sure my bottom edge is right in the same position there with this little screw. Take that screw in nice and slow so it doesn't break that board. I can feel the wood kind of start to separate there a little bit. This one didn't quite hit where I wanted. I'm going to adjust that. Actually had a knot in that board, so it did not hit it where I wanted it to. There we go. Alright, got our 4 screws on the back. Now you can see the front start to come together. Again, this is recycled wood, so it's kind of got a little bow in it. But by the time we're done, this thing's going to look alright. Okay, I'm going to put the front on. Now, like I said, we wanted that nice flat finish on the front, so we'll put that on there. It's going to hang over the bottom just a little bit. You can see that here. It's hanging over about the same width as the wood is. If I measure it correctly. This board was a little warped, as you can probably tell. It's got a little bow in it. That's okay. And when I cut the fence panel, really if you're cutting, you'd want to measure each individual cut. You wouldn't want to have it like all set up like I did and then just start cutting down the board. You'd want to do each cut, measure, cutting on the same side of the line. Otherwise, you're going to end up with all different sorts of measurements and cuts. So, just got to remember to be consistent on that. Leave the line. That's what my dad used to always say. Cut and leave the line. And so there we've got it starting to come together. Put our bottom on there, and that'll be perfectly set. I'll actually do the bottom next. Set that here. Bottom and my top left remaining. May have still left that a half inch short. Something to learn from there. Looks okay, it's all on the bottom. I'm just going to do 1 screw on each side here. See, on the front, I did put 2 screws on each side, and down here on the bottom, I just did 1 on each side. That'll actually hold together, especially if I was using the glue that I was talking about earlier. Alright, and for the lid, for the top of this birdhouse, we'll go right here. Again, I'm just going to do 2. That will hold it together. Let's get that glue back out though. That would be a wise choice, just to help it. Like cabinet makers and stuff, they'll tell you glue is actually the tightest bonding of the items we use. Tighter than a screw, tighter than a nail. side here. I could do one down the middle, but it's holding on there really good. Nothing's gonna like blow the roof off of this thing, no wind or anything. I'll get my longer screw here. I did get one longer screw. That's about a 3-incher, I do believe. It's gonna go in the top. I'll just go ahead and start that. That's what you would use to finish putting it onto a post, or preferably a post, not something that is living, because you put that in a tree, the tree will grow around it, it will start to disform that tree, could even kill it if you do too much damage to a tree. So it's there. We are now ready to drill that hole to make this really look like a bird box on the front. Ryland's going to change that bit for us. As I said earlier, I've got that spot marked, plus, or X marks the spot. This one was made out of a brand new cedar fence panel, but you can see they're both pretty identical. This one has a little bit more character to it with the shape of the wood, the texture of the wood. So it's really what you prefer. Do you like that texture, or do you want it to look more like sharp and finished and refined there? I'm not sanding any of these edges or anything like that. It's going to be outside. Birds are going to be on it, hopefully. All right. And come around here, young man. This one right here. All right. He's going to just press firmly down. Nice and slow. When you get real close, let the drill bit do the work. Make him lean one side a little bit and the other. He's getting close. Hear that wood start to splinter a little bit on the inside.
Really close.
Yeah, we'll clean that off. Bird might even want to live in there, or use that as his bird. So, you gotta get that a little tighter. Okay, there you go. Oh, we were there, weren't we? All right, as predicted, nice 1.5-inch hole there on the front. Some folks like to put a little dowel rod in there for the bird to rest on, or for a second box around the outside. We're not going to do that today. This is our finished product. You can see now we have 2 Bluebird bird boxes ready for installation this spring. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned a lot. Put comments, questions down below. Have a good evening.